They want you to be, like a real role model citizen. But when you're disabled and you too much independence, they hold it against you. And then they want to take certain things from you. That's the world we live in today. And it's a sad thing, but I just keep on pushing, like something's gonna come through. You know, I
Well,
just
like,
focus on what I can change, and anything else I just give to God.
Welcome to Out of the Box with Christine. And now, here's the host of the show, Christine Blosdale.
today's show is brought to you by How Do I Create a Podcast.com. Want to create your very own podcast to promote you and your business? Learn how you can become a rockstar podcaster in 30 days or less. Just visit howdoicreateapodcast.com. That's howdoicreateapodcast.com. Welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am your host, Christine Blosdale, your expert authority coach. And Out of the Box with Christine is the podcast for conscious entrepreneurs, from people who are making it and shaking it, and who are coming from a heart-centered place, trying to make the world a better place by using our gifts, whatever they may be, the gift of gab or our wisdom and the lessons that we've learned in life. And today, I am very excited to have my guest joining us today. Byron Breeze Jr., also known as Soulja, is joining us today. And do I like to have me call you Byron or Soulja?
Call me half.
Call you half? What do you say? Yes.
Everybody call me half soldier, but
Okay.
Call me half. So
okay, so I'm joined by half who, born without legs or hands. Soulja half has moved to New York City from Washington D.C. to create a better life, and the act of survival turned into an unexpected journey to help raise money on the corner of 60th and Madison in New York City to not only pay his bills, but to unite the Urban Casualties, which is a group of artists, musicians, and poets who met in a rehabilitation facility near Washington, D.C. And other than Soulja, who was born with a birth defect, the other members of the group were paralyzed as young men due to violence and a car accident. And so, wow. And I'm just picturing you, New York City. That's a crazy place to be.
Yeah.
And how long are you still there in New York?
Well, I moved back to Maryland.
Okay.
I'm in New York now.
Uh-huh.
Promoting the book and hustling and promoting the book. I'm in New York now, but I live in Maryland.
And the book we're talking about is he's also the author of If You Only Knew the Half. Oh, and if for those of you who aren't watching this on YouTube, he's holding up the cover, and my heart just jumps out.
The book. It's the actual book.
It's the book. It's done. It's available now. Talk about that. What a celebration that you have been working on for so many years.
Long time coming,
yeah.
Something came to me early on this year, and something said, get to it, and how you put your mind to something, and like in the next 4 months, it was done. I was up ready for press, had to edit it and go through the editing process and make sure everything was everything. 4 months, 5 months, I had the book in my hand.
Your perseverance and dedication to your soul's mission is just, I got goosebumps. I got like,
It's just survival to me. It may be perseverance and persistence, but it's just, that's my survival. Like I'm surviving. Like I ain't got no other choice.
Tell us a little bit about, well, you grew up in Washington, D.C. I visited there quite a few times, and actually was on the radio there at WPFW.
Okay.
I like Washington D.C. and Maryland. I like that. I love the lobster
The
rolls.
DMV, they call it the DMV.
Yes, I really liked it there. I love the public transport and everything. But talk about growing up. First of all, I don't know how old you are, but um, you
I'll
know,
be 50 October.
okay. So especially in inner cities with Washington D.C., life can be sometimes rough. Um, it can definitely be rough. But then on
Yeah,
top of it, to be born with the situation that you found yourself in, talk about growing up and how you got around, how you dealt with, like, I know there's some crazy bullies and stuff like that, but just talk about your early memory.
they called me the bully.
Oh,
I
did
was
they?
the bully. That's the type of attitude I had. That's why they call me Soulja. Like, I don't know. It's like I was moving. Sometimes I forget I'm disabled. I don't even know what that word is to me. That's how I move around in my life sometimes. Like I ain't disabled, but when everybody had their good and bad days. But I try to have more good days than bad days. But I know when I have certain bad days, this world ain't made for me. Like it's not made for me as being a disabled human or disabled American. It's not made for me. Like a lot of my resources and benefits that I think I'm obligated is being taken away from me right now. Like little things. And like that's why I get out and I hustle and I do what I do. And that's why I made this book. If you only knew the hat, because like I'm still going through things today, but I try not to show it. I
It's
try to
that
keep it moving.
it's that light, that light spirit that just comes through. It's so powerful, and I can see it and feel it. Can you talk about too, because on the streets in New York, it can get rough. Not just only like interesting people that you meet, but also hell, just the weather. It's like one of the coldest places I've ever been. I was there in February, and I was just walking around talking to New Yorkers, going, "How do you do this?"
Like, I don't know. I'm part Eskimo. I don't mind the cold.
You don't mind the
I'm hot
cold. Oh,
nature, so I'm hot in nature, so I stay warm. I'm like a bear.
but you must have had some just some amazing experiences. Can you talk about some highlights of when you were there, and then also with the wonderful group of people that you brought together as well?
Here in New York or DC? What area?
Well, and I'm interested in both.
Okay, well, in DC, the guys, a couple of guys, we went to school together, and we used to live in the same building. So we used to always get together and rap and hang together. Back in those days when I first got out of high school, I was hanging out with guys that we was doing wild things, hanging out, got in trouble, selling things that we weren't supposed to be selling.
Yeah.
I experienced all those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and but through that, when I was doing those things, I see that it wasn't going to get me nowhere. A lot of my friends were getting in trouble. They even tried to give me a conspiracy charge because my friends that I was hanging around with, it wasn't necessary that all my friends was doing something, but they had us in a senior citizens building, right? And, we young moving into the building. So all my friends were like basketball, football players. So they come in the door looking bigger than life. And they like, the old people, oh, like they gonna do something, but it wasn't like that. So, but they try to say that I was responsible for some type of organized crime because the friends that I was hanging around. So when all that was going on, and what made it hit the fan was when they kicked in my door. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine you waking up and you got police shields and assault rifles in your face, you know, and I'm laying in my house in the living room by myself. Wasn't nobody in my house that day, you know. But that was their assumptions that we was doing, or I had all this unorganized crime type of figures hanging around me. So when that happened and I wound up moving out the building, I just moved up New York. You know, I gave up everything. I came up New York with a wheelchair and a prayer. And that's how me and Kathy met. That's how my life has been built upon off of 60th and Madison. You know, like, and it's like I can't leave it alone right now. So, but, you know, like I done met a lot of people of New York, you know, like Mr. Ralph Lauren. I know his brother, both his brothers. Matter of fact, his brother Jerry got my book. I met what's the name? Mr. Cuomo, the older one, the father, before he passed. Mr. Tony Bennett, I knew him. He used to come through there. I met a lot of people, and I still know a lot of people, you know, through 60th and Madison. They call that Billionaires Row. So you see all type of people come through there. Like
that was a smart place to be.
Yeah, but right now, that corner, for say right now, is under construction. All the buildings on that corner is under renovation. And at the same time, so it look kind of weird right now. So, you know, so like when I do go out there, I get like passed by out of towners and mainly like the construction worker guys that be out there right now. So, but I'm just trying to build my life from off the street from 60th and in a different way now, you know, like trying to create content, you know, like the book, and I got my shirt, No Excuses, you know. I just try to create, and, and I learned doing a lot of this, you know how they say through isolation comes elevation. So like I find a lot of times when I isolate myself, I come to a lot of conclusions and overcome a lot of obstacles, you know.
You've had to overcome a lot of obstacles in life, and you know
and still is like,
and still every day.
Still today, I tell you some of the things that they say, oh no, you can't get this, you can't get this. I was told that I wasn't going to be able to drive. I was told that I wasn't going to be able to do this and do that. That's why, you know, I can't tell the right hand what the left hand doing. You know, because in this world that we live in, like they push you to be independent, you know, they push you to be strong. They want you to be, you know, like a real role model citizen. But when you're disabled and you too much independence, they hold it against you. And then they want to take certain things from you. You know, that's the world we live in today. And it's, you know, it's a sad thing, but I just keep on pushing, you know, like something's gonna come through, you know. I just focus on what I can change, and anything else I just give to God.
What I was saying earlier too before we started recording is, you know, if the government can give billions and billions or trillions, I don't even know how much it is now, to Ukraine and for war and for these things that are outside of our communities and
our umbrella that we in, you know, like,
yeah, you know, if you think about it, it's like here's a brother who's doing right, who's staying straight, who's want to motivate people and help them, and you need assistance, you need help. It's not, we're not talking trillions of dollars, right?
Nope. Not even that. Like, I'm trying to tell you, people, I don't understand how somebody can have $1 billion. I heard Tupac say this. How can you have $100 billion, but it's still 100 people on the street that's homeless and hungry? It doesn't make sense. How many houses can you have? How many cars can you have? So when I see people spending all that money on cars, it's stupid to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't register. So like, that's why, I'm real patient because I know my blessings are gonna come, but because what I'm seeking is real mediocre, because I can make something small into something real substantial, I just know I can do that. So I just got a lot of patience. But
Well,
it's crazy. The world really is wild.
It's crazy. And also make it illegal for people to feed the people that are hungry as well. You can't just make sandwiches
I gotta
and go down and feed people. It's like,
listen to this though, Christine. I
what?
remember they was calling me and was asking me, was I still disabled before I can get my disability check? Yeah, exactly.
What is
but that in the bud, I went to the office and so they said, "Oh, why are you here?" I said, "I'm here because y'all called me in to make sure that I'm still disabled. No legs have grown, no fingers have grown. So yeah, I'm still disabled. What's your problem?"
They think magically you're gonna grow limbs?
I don't know, man. It's just people not doing their job. I don't know.
And you struggle and you struggle and struggle. And the thing is that because I know all the bureaucratic red tape you got to go through, and you got to fill this form out and do that and go in this line and fill this thing out.
But none of that's available. None of that. Like,
oof.
Everything they say, oh, the listers are cut off. Listers are cut off. Everything is nothing available. Nothing. So, everything is being outsourced. Everything, all the resources, like everything. There's like all the waiting lists for houses, certain housing. It's like right now I'm paying regular rent. I've been doing it by my dolly since 2016. I'm paying regular rent. I've been trying to find affordable houses. I moved back home, but it is what it is. That's one of my struggles that I deal with on a daily basis. I'm behind right now, but they gonna get it when I get it. That's all I can say.
Right.
If I ain't got it, I ain't got it to give. It is what it is.
Let's help get that. Let's help get that. Let's help get that rent paid. And
I'm trying.
I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to listen. Everybody who's listening to this podcast and watching it on YouTube. First of all, you need to share this episode with as many people as possible. Okay. Number 2, you need to get his book. If you only knew the half. Okay. I'll have a link in the show notes. You can get it that way. And also you can go to the website halfasoulja.com, and it's HALFASOULJA.com, and reach out to Soulja, reach out, and whatever way you feel that you can also assist, because not only is he just trying to do like the good thing and to be an awesome citizen, but he's also speaking and helping motivate people. Because it's like, you know what? If you wake up on a Monday and you're like, oh, I got to go to work today, I don't feel like it, just listen to his story and you'll go, you know what? If he can do that, all of that, and he's written a book, and there's a film about
and writing another one.
And you're writing another one, and he's
called No Excuse.
No excuses. Absolutely no excuses. Oh my goodness. Yep. All right. Well, we'll make sure we put that out there. So and the thing is too that I think what you have to say and like I said, your perseverance, your strength, and your courage needs to be seen by more people, So I'll put this out there too. If there's somebody that can also, I think you need a TED Talk. I think you need a TED Talk now.
Yeah.
Because something with a TED Talk can reach millions of people. And not only will you be inspiring people who are really in a difficult situation right now, but also then that can lead to other things, right? Because people need to know about you and about the work that you do, and also what's happening in the community in general.
Man, the world we live in, terrible.
It's,
But
you know,
you gotta
but
look at
let's,
life happening for us, not to us. You know, you gotta keep on pushing.
well, yeah, you got, the thing is that it is that you need to have the basic human necessities of life.
Basic resources, like
Yes.
it's getting stripped from me slowly but surely. I think the last thing they're gonna take from me is my disability check, and I feel it's coming soon though. I think so, for real. I think so. I think so. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why they even took the little food stamp that they was giving me. I don't know why, but I think it's coming to that point. You know, I just like to prepare myself. You know,
So what can we do? What can we do? What can people do?
spread the word about the book.
Spread the
You
word
know,
about the
and
book.
keep in your prayers, and just other than that, I just give everything to God. You know,
Do you have do
God
you
gonna make
have
it.
like a do you have like a GoFundMe page or a PayPal page or something that people can just?
Well, only thing people, like when they was buying my book, they was sending me money through the Zelle. Zelle,
Okay.
I
So they
have
can
that,
get that
but
can they get that information at the website?
no, Zelle is like my name, Byron Breeze, and my phone numbers. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
how you get the Zelle.
I'm
So
gonna say I'm
it's
gonna
like,
say to contact you directly because I don't want you to give your phone number out. Then you'll start getting all the I get the
oh, my
scam.
phone number already out there.
Oh, is
Like
it?
it's social media because like when I tell people that they want the book, to call me before I had it on Amazon and Apple and Barnes and Noble. I was doing the distributing myself.
Okay. All right. So let's put it out there so folks can Zelle, and that's a transfer of funds. And what's the phone number associated with that?
717-634-7633.
It's
Under the
seven.
name
Yes.
Byron Breeze.
Okay, so here we go. So for those of you who want to, let's support Byron right now. You can do a Zelle transfer. The number is 717-634-7633, and the name is Byron Breeze, BYRON BREEZ. And yeah, this should not.
CE
What was that?
is BREEZE. It's an E
Yes.
at the end.
BREEZE. I think I said that, but I'll put that in the show notes too. So if anybody's like, I'm driving and I can't, don't worry, it's in the show notes. You can go back to it. So you know
I
what?
really appreciate this thing. Like I really appreciate letting me use your platform, spread the word. I really appreciate you, man. Like
Absolutely.
it's hard to find. It's hard to find good people like you in the days, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And anything that you've got going on that that you need to get the word out, you just let me know. I feel like there's something really big, and listen, I'm not a psychic. I'm not like psychic Cleo or anything like that. But I feel like there's something that's actually really big going to happen for you. And yet the chipping away, you know what? The chipping away of taking away your support, your life support, really, it's like you being in a hospital and they're trying to unplug things.
Yeah.
That may happen. That chip away may happen, but man, I see
But
something so much bigger for you. Like,
bigger, right? And that's how I feel. Like that's how like instead of dwelling in the negative, I'm always thinking positive. Like if I can't change it, I give it to God. God ain't gonna put no battles on you big enough that you can't handle. And He got a reason for me being here. So He want me to reach somebody. So
well, we're
I
gonna
look as always. It's a message through the madness. So
mm, well, we're gonna try and get this out there and reach as many people as we can. I just Yeah. I love you. I feel like
I love you
I
too. Thank you
love
for
you.
inviting
Yeah.
me.
You're part of my family. So now it's like now I'm on a mission now. Like I gotta
Right.
go.
You got to call them if you need me to show up and motivate somebody. I'll show up, pull up, hop out, and everything, and show out. That's me. That's
And let's
that's
talk
how I
about that.
think my team and my family. So
Let's talk about that too. Like, have you spoken to any? I'm just thinking like I'm thinking like children's groups and things like that. Have you done any public speaking where you actually got to talk to kids?
yeah, I spoke at. You ever heard of Tech Fellowship
I've heard of it. Yeah,
in Manhattan? It's right here off of Madison Avenue. I spoke at that school. I spoke at a school in the Bronx. I did a landmark forum,
beautiful.
and I got invited to a Tony Robinson event. I don't know if you probably read about that in my story, but yeah, during the time I did the New York City triathlon, Tony Robinson invited me out to Atlanta. So I went out there and I didn't know he was gonna call me on stage. He called me on stage and he gave me $10,000 towards the music when I was working with the guys and I was getting them traveling back and forth from DC to New York. He gave me the $10,000 to help facilitate that. And we were supposed to meet Quincy Jones, but getting back in contact with Tony's people during that time, and it was a lot of death that was in the music industry. And I think Whitney Houston, a lot of people was dying around, I think, Quincy Jones music company and all that. So that didn't never pan out, but we were supposed to meet up with Quincy Jones, and yeah,
That
that was a good
that
time
may have
in my
been a
life.
blessing. That may have been a
Yeah,
blessing in disguise. That may,
yeah.
you know
So
what? The record industry, I'll tell you, it's just like Hollywood, man. There's some
yeah,
dark.
so I look at this like the 50-year anniversary of hip hop, and I'm gonna be 50 years old this year.
It's
So
time.
like I've been trying to strive and get in the music industry just as long as it's been here. So
I think you create your own thing, man. Create your own
yeah,
thing. I was telling you,
I make my own lane.
I was telling you, you should create your own podcast. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you own your own music, you can you can play that thing. You can put that music in your podcast. You can have it up on Spotify. You can do all that. I believe that the more control we have over our creative genius, the better off we are. Because
Yeah,
I've
that's what
also
I
seen how
like.
artists get,
Like
I've seen how artists,
hey, railroad.
they're like, what do you mean I get
That's,
10 cents for that song that was
hey,
made you guys a million gazillion
and you know
dollars?
what? Another thing made me inspire me to write this book and creating content. I listen to Dame Dash a lot. I don't know if you ever heard Dame Dash.
No,
Dame Dash. You never heard Dame Dash? He used to own Rockefeller Records, Jay-Z, Dame Dash.
Oh, no, I've heard of him, but I don't know him, but I've heard
Yeah,
of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I listen to a lot of things. His podcast when he be talking about business and ownership and creating content and owning your own masters. And I listen to him a lot, and he encouraged me to do a lot of things. So, he encouraged me to stay strong and keep pushing, so that's why when I was doing all the distributor this by myself before I even had it on Amazon, because I know it was a whole tedious process of putting it up on there. But Drafted Digital is kind of cool with it, and it helped me facilitate it. So you'll find out once you go to Drafted Digital, it's
Yes.
real cool.
Well, I see a podcast in your future. Yes, keep ownership of everything that you have in that beautiful brain of yours, because then that way it's yours. And nobody can steal it from you, can take it from you, can do any of that. Remember, that's why Prince changed his name, because Sony, I think it was Sony or Warner Brothers or
Yeah.
somebody, they had
He was a symbol now.
yeah, he had to be a
He turned his
symbol.
name to the symbol. Yeah.
Oh, and
That's
then
why I turned my name to the. I got the tattoo to prove it. Like when I told you my name half, you see it?
yeah, yes, yeah,
I got it tattooed on my arm half.
half.
So yeah.
Oh, half. It's been such a pleasure to be with you. You are welcome back anytime. Absolutely
I really
anytime.
appreciate you inviting me.
And just keep me updated as to what's going on, okay? And I'll have Kathleen as well.
I would appreciate for you letting me use your platform. Like,
absolutely. I'm going to donate for that because I know it's going to cost you a little bit for that shipping. So I'll make sure I put donation.
But love is love. You know?
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate that. You know?
Thank you so much.
That's like when I be posted up on 60 and like some people don't have money to give me, donate. I'm just telling them, conversation is priceless. Oh. You stopping to talk to me, that's priceless.
Yes.
That's worth $1 million. Like, you know, so like, I look at it like that. You got to give a blessing to get a blessing.
I'm so happy that you came into my stratosphere. Thank you so much again.
I just try to be a blessing, so I keep the blessings coming.
Well, they're coming at you. They're coming your way, darling. Thank you again so much.
I'm gonna keep praying.
We'll put all of the information for people to get in touch with you, how they can support you, and so that you can actually really do your work that you're meant to be on this planet for. And I'll put all that information in the show notes. Thank you again, my darling man. And thank you, wonderful listeners who've tuned in today. You know, if you've been motivated by this conversation, if you feel propelled, if your heart is pulling at you and just tugging at you, please share this episode. If you want to see my beautiful guest on YouTube, you can go and check out the Out of the Box with Christine podcast on YouTube. Get the book If You Only Knew the Half by Byron Soulja Breeze, and we'll have links to that in the show notes so you can get your copies as well. All right, darling. Thank you so much. And as I always say, remember to think outside that damn box. Bye for now.
Bye.